Hey guys, welcome back to Popo's Woodworks. I'm in Lowe's right now, and people looking at me like I'm stupid because I'm talking to myself is what they think. So we're gonna make this quick. I'm up here and then got this, you see right here, I got this big old buggy full of lumber, and we're gonna be making a full bed that's also a storage bed. So I'm taking pretty much, I've seen 2 pictures online, I'll throw them up in a second. But it's a headboard and a footboard, and I'm gonna put them both together to make a bed that I want for my daughter. So that's that. I gotta go. Here comes somebody. All right, guys. Now we're back in my shop, garage, whatever you want to call it. But now I ain't got nobody looking at me. So anyway, what I'm gonna be doing first is I'm gonna be cutting the frame, the storage, the actual storage bed frame, what the mattress is gonna sit on. Because the reason I'm gonna do that is that's my biggest lumber, them 2x12s, and I want them out of my floor, out of my way. So I will do a detailed shopping list and a cutting list, and I'll throw them up on a slide. You can either pause it or write it down. You can screenshot it. That way you'll have it if you decide to build this. But this is for a full-size bed. It's not a queen, not a twin, it's a full. And I think that with these sizes, if you're gonna do a twin bed, you knock off 15 inches in the width. And if you're gonna do a queen, of course, you add whatever it is that the queen size is. So this one's for my daughter, and we're gonna do it this way. We ordered a memory, if I can't talk. We ordered a memory foam mattress. So it should be coming here soon, so hopefully I get the bed done before the mattress gets here. So we're gonna go ahead and get started, but like I said, we're doing the frame first. If you're keeping track, we're gonna do the frame first, and we're gonna do the headboard last. Here's where we are now, and I'm gonna make you a little bit dizzy because I'm holding the phone. These long pieces here, as you can see, I cut those down to 62 inches long. The shorter pieces over here, I cut those down to 54 inches long. So basically, this is gonna be the side rail, if you will, that's what I'm gonna call it. And then this is gonna be at the end that goes side to side of the bed, kind of like the footboard would do. All right. These are going to be your end caps that's going to sit here where these are going to connect to. They're cut down to 16 inches long, got 6 of those. And then I have 3 of these, which is cut down to 12¼ inch long. And these 3 are going to be the dividers on each one of your boxes. So basically I got all these cut now. That wood is heavy because it's still kind of wet. But I'm going to go ahead and get them and run all these through my planer. Try to dress it up a little bit. Take this construction grade lumber and make it look nice. So just bear with me and let me get that knocked out, and then I'll be right back with you. After all this sanding and all that mess, now I'm finally ready to start putting this thing together. So what I'm doing here is I've got some scrap 3/4 inch thick wood. I got one here and one on the other end, because ultimately I want the bottom of this shelf to be 3/4 inches off the ground. I don't want the whole thing to touch the ground all the way across. That way I know both ends are going to be exactly the same. So I'm just going to set this on top of that, line this up, and then I'm gonna get some glue and we're gonna glue it and screw it in. I was gonna do pocket holes, but the more I think about it, you're not gonna, I'm just gonna go straight in through here, because you're not gonna see it, because the headboard's gonna be on this end, and then on the other end, the shelves are gonna be running the opposite direction. So I'm gonna do it the easy way, and I'm just gonna drive them straight in and glue them. Now that I got it lined up, I'm just gonna make a very light pencil mark right here, because once again, you're not gonna see that. And you can see my pencil mark. Now, I know exactly, let me get this little do my flotchy out of my way. Now I know exactly where to lay my glue. So I'm gonna go ahead and get me a line down there. And And I'm gonna butt it back up. Slide it side to side a little bit to set the glue. And then I'm using 2.5 inch decking screws. So I'm gonna throw maybe 3, one on each end, one in the center. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those in. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do the, the center brace. So this piece is 62 inches long from end to end. So half of that's 31 inches. So I'm gonna put one in the center. And I made a mark here and then did a little tiny mark that I can sand off later on the side. That way once I set this piece of wood in here, I'll be able to see my mark. I did this side and did this one. That way I can see on both what I'm doing. But I'm gonna go ahead and get that in now instead of having to fight with it later. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that in and then screw it from the bottom. So here's how we look now. So now I'm gonna take and get some glue and I'm gonna glue this top edge right here. And then I'll lay this piece on, glue both ends and screw it on in. So I'm gonna go ahead and speed it up from here. That's it. I've got both of the sides done. So this is what they look like so far. And of course, over here is that's the end piece. And I don't mind all that racket. It's cold in here, so I had to fire the stove up. So now I'm gonna take the table saw and I'm going to rip 3 sections of 16 inches wide, 8 feet long of that plywood over there, and then we're going to attach it to the back side just to close it in. So I'll go ahead and get that done and show you what it looks like. So I measured from that end to that end, which is 65, and I used my table saw and ripped those down. I actually cut them to 15 1/4 wide, not 16 inches. So now I got them on my miter saw and I'm gonna cut them down to length. So I'm gonna mark them 65, cut it, and then that'll be the back for the storage cabinet. Now I've showed this in one of my other videos, but this is a good time for me to show it again where it actually comes in handy. As you can see, my miter saw will not cut. Even though it's a slide miter saw, that's it. It will not cut all the way over here. So basically what you do to kind of cheat on that one is once you make your cut as far as you can, I turn the saw off, I raise this up and hold it with my thumb, and I will lift the board into the blade, which will give me that extra little space that I need to cut it. So I'll go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. And there you have it. I cut something that wasn't long enough for my saw to do it, or it was too wide for my saw to cut it. There's your tip for the week. Now I've laid this one on the side. I'm gonna take glue and I'm gonna run it all along the edges, and then I'll go back with the 1/4 inch plywood and I'll lay it on it, and I'm gonna shoot it with 1 inch brads. So now we're at the point of getting the 2x4 cut to the length of this box, which I'll use this to show you. This is where you're going to mount the 2x4 on the back like this, and then you're going to screw it in. So you'll screw it in each end and then the center. And basically what this is going to be is so your slats, which I'm going to use 2x4s, your slats are going to sit on this for the middle portion of your bed so your bed doesn't droop. So my fingers there. Basically what I did to get this line is I took a combination square, set it on top of a 2x4, and then got my depth right. Then came along here, held my pencil, and just went on down the box drawing the line. That way when I lay the long piece here, I can screw this in and then do the other end, and I know it's got a level. And now the center, I measured center again and just using my square to draw a line so I'll know where that 2x4 is. So when I go to put the screws in the center, then it'll hit. And I am going to use the 2.5 inch decking screws for this as well. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that 2x4 and get it mounted to the back of the box. I got all 11 of my slats cut, and like I said, or either I don't know if I said, I'm getting tired, but they're cut down to 30 1/2 inches long, and you need 11 of them. So that's that. Now with that one over there and these two, the entire bed frame itself is done, other than putting it together. So now I'm gonna get started on the headboard. I just cut, these are the 1x4s. So I just cut these two down to 54 inches, and I cut this one down to 57.5 inches. So these two are going to be the legs of the headboard, and I believe this is going to be the very first piece as you start running all your planks. So now I'm going to go ahead and take the rest of the lumber and cut down all the other planks. All right, as you can see, I started putting the headboard together, but I was one board short. So I was one 1x4 short. And this one I already had laying in the shop, and it was bowed so bad. So what I had to do is I had to put the clamps on each end, and then I glued them together here. And I also glued these. I cut these out of scrap and glued them and shot them with brass to try to hold them together, which you're not going to see it because it's going to be on the back of the headboard. So basically, now I'm at a standstill until all that right there dries, and then I can move on along. But the headboard doesn't look like it's going to be that difficult. So as soon as that dries, we'll get back at it and try to finish this thing up. Now that the glue has dried on this and got that bow out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one side at a time. For main reason is because of the space I've got here, but I've got this one sitting here just kind of holding these on the bench. So basically with the 1x4 starting it, and then I got the 1x6s, they're all going to be the rest of them. So the very top board is going to be the small board. I'm just gonna line it up flush here, and I'm gonna line it up flush here, and then I'll take and put glue down here, and I'm gonna lay it down and shoot it. And that way, when I get ready to do the other side, I'll do it the exact same, and it's just gonna be a little bit easier for me trying to do it by myself when I don't have an extra set of hands. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all these attached and get them glued down and shot with the brads, and I'm gonna be using the 1-inch brad to hold these in. Oh, and a clip note, the brads, my trim is I think 2.5 or 2 1/4 wide, so I'm gonna keep the brads kind of close to the edge. That way when I put the trim up around the edges, you're not going to see all the nails from the nail gun. All right, I've got all these shot. As you can see, I did 3 brads per board. So this side has got the brads in it and glued. This side is not. As you can see, I hadn't done that yet. It's like 38 degrees inside the shop right now. It's cold. So basically, I'm gonna let this have a little bit of time to dry to where when I go to move it around, I really don't have to worry about putting all my faith in those brads. So I'm gonna give it about 15 to 30 minutes to sit a little bit, and then I'll go ahead and attach this side. I've got both sides glued and shot, and as you can tell, what I did here is I had another piece of scrap, and just for safe measure, I went it right down the center, and I glued it and shot it with brads as well, just to make it a little bit more rigid and help hold all them boards together, because I didn't glue each individual board because they're going to shrink regardless, you know, once they get inside the house and the climate control, so they're going to draw up a little bit, but it shouldn't be too bad. The boards I use for my bed, you can't even hardly tell it. But I did want to do that just to kind of keep them together. That way they don't separate on each other in time. They kind of stay flat or flush rather. So now I'm gonna finish the rest of it, and then we're almost done. This right here is that 2x2 piece. So I'm gonna run, actually I'm messing up here. Let's take that off. I'm just gonna run a single bead. That way to help control the squeeze out. All right. Now, this is going to go under here, and then you're just going to flush it up like you did all the other slats, and then I'm going to use this to kind of help me hold it. Then I'm going to come over here, and from the back side, I hope this is on camera, but from the back side I'm actually going to shoot it from this side. And I'll do the same thing over here. Alright, so that's that. Now, I'm gonna let that dry a little bit, and I think I gotta flip this thing over and we'll finish up the trim pieces on it. I told you a lie. Alright, so we gotta keep it flipped over. Now, this is the 16-inch 2x4s that we cut. They're gonna go just like this, right here. So once again, you're gonna have to shoot this from the back side. So, with that said, I'm gonna put some glue on this one, except this time I'm gonna do it kind of crazy. I'm gonna fill it full. All this does is just beefens up this 1x4. So, then I'm gonna take it, set it here, and wiggle it around a little bit so it gets a bite. Utilize my little clamp thingamajiggy right here again. Then I'm gonna tack it. Let me check my nails. Yep, so good. Now I'm gonna make sure I'm good down here. And I'll tack it right here. Now I can take this off and go ahead and fill it full. One to grow on. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do that on the other end, and then we'll see where we gotta be from there. Okay, so now you gotta cut the trim, which, as you can see, I've already cut this one. This one, of course, is going to be the width of the headboard, 57.5, I believe. But let me tell you what I did where I screwed up. Kind of irritates me. So anyway, the side piece was supposed to be 36.5. Well, I had that. I thought. I can't remember how this thing went together now. Anyway, so anyhow, what I did was I cut the wrong end. If you can see, this is the fat side and this is the skinny side. I had the wrong angle. In other words, I'm tired, it's late, I wasn't paying attention, so I cut the freaking wrong end. So now, with this being up here flush, as you can see, here's the piece that I cut wrong. So it put the skinny side that away. So now I corrected it, but I'm gonna flip this over because it's for the other end. Now I have this gap here, and it's supposed to come down flush. My problem is it's so late that Lowe's is not open, and I've been racking my brain looking around the garage trying to find something that I can put in there to make do, because I really wanted to get them stained tonight. But don't look like it's gonna happen. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might just cut another 2x2 and stick it right there. So it's my daughter's bed. It ain't like it's going in a furniture store or nothing like that. But anyhow, once again, like I say just about every video, what's woodworking without mistakes, right? Alrighty. Well, I found out the solution to my problem. Sometimes the answer is staring you right in the face and you don't realize it. But that gap that I got down there, I got this one right. I was racking my brain trying to figure out what I could put in it, and then it dawned on me. I got that little bit of scrap left over, so I just cut a plug. That way it's the same trim. Yes, it will have a little bit of a line, but so be it. It'll do what I need to do so I can finish tonight. So let me get this in here, and I'll go ahead and glue all the trim down and shoot it with brads. And the headboard, I think we got to put some trim along the edges here to hide all that raw stuff. So we'll get all that done, then the headboard will be complete. All right, so now those 1x3s that is on the list, I'm putting glue on this now. I just put the one on the top. These are cut the entire length of the headboard. Like I said, I've already put that one on and shot it. You gotta make sure you got enough hangover to where this is sliding up under it. So basically, you want to just flush it, and then I'm gonna tack it with a brad. Let me put two. Then I'm gonna come down here. I'm gonna flush it with the front of the legs, and then I'm gonna shoot it. But I got everything in my way here. All right. Then I'll just throw some in up the side. All right, so let me get this squeeze out right here. So now I will do the same thing with this piece. I will put it right here on this side. I'll throw the glue on it and shoot it with brads, and then the headboard will finally be complete. All right, so here's the finished headboard. So you can see what I was talking about those trim pieces. I had to put some wood putty because that one was a little warped. So when that dries, I'll sand it off. But pretty much that's it. There's your trim. Then the bottom side. Pretty simple. But now, when I go to put those up here, I'll take and screw from the inside of the box. I'll screw into this post on both sides, and then when I do the piece that comes across here, I'm going to screw inside the box this way, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, I'll show you when I get ready to do it. So now I'm going to go ahead and get the stain out, and I'm going to start staining everything. So here's what they look like stained. And whew, a lot of staining. So this is the back piece, of course, the 2 rails, and then the headboard. And I didn't bother staining the back sides. Normally I do, but you're never going to see it, so what's the point, right? This is what the bed looks like finished, and I've got the slats in the center and all of it stained and put together. Now I took and ran 4 screws, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, on this end and this end into this. They were 1.25" screws. And then for the headboard right here, I just did 1 here and 1 here. There were 2.5 inches, because that's a 2x4 going into a 2x4. The slats that I told you originally were 30 inches and 30.5 inches. That was wrong. I actually had to go back and recut. They're 33 5/8 inches long to fit that slot in the middle. So that's the finished product, other than when the mattress comes in and I can throw the mattress on top of it. But we're going to take and get some rope lights, and we're going to run, because it's going to be maybe 1 inch all the way around the bed. So we're going to, she likes light at night, scared of the dark, typical kid. So we're going to run rope lights all the way down the edge and back up here. That way when you set the mattress on it, then you'll have that little lip of rope light and it'll light up around her bed. So that's that.